Here's a setup on a new custom build I'm putting together. Still in the primer stage and some of it. I'm going to probably go to black on the handguard, but then try to match the grip out here to the khaki or desert sand. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about it, right? This started off as an EMERBU MK8. Now, I have gone through, I did upgrade the spring in this, and I can't remember what I went to. I think I went to an M95. And sorry, that just happens. Sometimes I get in the middle of these or something new comes and then I stop one and I kind of forget what I did. But I'm pretty sure that's what I went to. So what I'm going to do here is obviously I've printed a handguard, and I print these, like I said, now if I'm printing handguards or anything that's going to have any type of strain on it, I'm printing them heavy, which means like 100% plastic. There's no infill percentage. It's going to 100%. So that way it's basically as strong as I can print them. It's still not going to be as strong as, as nylon like this, but it's going to be, the best it can be for 3D printing, which is going to be pretty strong. And in a handguard like this, especially when it's mounted on there, you shouldn't have any issues with it. If you're playing airsoft, obviously airsoft pellets are harder and they don't shatter. Airsoft pellets can break 3D printed parts, so they need to be a little more careful and use different materials when they print. But this handguard, wasn't necessarily made exactly for this type of receiver, so had to do a little customizing. Had to make like a really thin top rail so that it lined up properly. And then again, I want to make sure these are on there super secure. And even though it's got the barrel stabilizer up here and obviously the factory barrel nut down here, or handguard nut, whichever you want to call it, I also put in threaded inserts. Actually, I used rivet nuts put in from this side because that way they can't pull out at all when you're screwing into them. And so basically these will just be, little bolts that screw in tight against the metal nut right here. And we've got 2 on the sides and 1 on the bottom. So that's going to hold that in there really nice and tight. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be very secure, which is what I'm going for. Little M-lock grip to go out here on the front. So that'll just be mounted somewhere, like so. And then the M-lock is going to go through there. And I'll put my little logo sticker in that. That's why I printed that, of course, right? One thing I thought I'd mix it up. I went with a riser back here that's kind of the length of the receiver. And this riser is made to double as a rear sight. So you can see all the way through it. And you can line up with your front sight if I go with this one. And then we can have some sort of optic on the top there. One thing unique I haven't done before is I have several of these TG ARP9 stocks, the standard stocks laying around, and I lined it up, and you can still use this telescoping feature and it doesn't hit anything, right? So you could use it on this blaster. So I thought, well, that would be cool. So I'm going to go ahead and use that, but I did have to do some work to it, so I'm going to show you. So I did print a piece, right, that is going to allow it to go onto the standard buffer receiver, and then there's a buffer tube nut that will go in there and be tightened down. So that's in there nice and tight, and that way we can have this on here instead with the telescoping ARP stock, which is just something new and different, and that's what I like to try to show you guys, lots of new, different ideas. So that's the gist of it. I do have some little side rails, the M-lock, that will go up on the front of this. And as I go through, I tend to overdo it and find extra accessories and different things to print for it just because that's kind of fun for me to do. So who knows if it'll end up with anything additional besides that. But that's kind of the plan. So we will see how it turns out once it finishes getting painted. And hopefully I can match that close enough, since this is out here, that it'll still, kind of tie everything together. That is what I'm going for. Comments, questions, post them below. Of course, like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends. participate in those monthly giveaways where you can win about $200 in custom blasters and accessories. And check back for the completed version video, plus, of course, demos once we complete it so I can show it to you in action. Thanks.